Hello, welcome to the vlog for week 6, my 6th weekly vlog of 2023. I'm VA Winter, an indie author retelling history and classic literature with a speculative twist, in which my goals are to gain freedom from my day job, clutter and debt. If you want to know more about it, I'll link the video where I was talking about it, whichever side it is. It is Monday morning and I'm actually opening this vlog on a Monday, which I think is kind of a shock at this point. I have done some writing already this morning. I did some writing yesterday evening. I was at work yesterday most of the day. I'm at work again this evening. I'm trying to write about 2,000 words today. I don't know if I'll manage that because I did 2 hours this morning and I only managed just over 600. I'm just on a really sticky scene. According to the Save the Cat beat sheet, I'm in the sort of finale. I'm in that last big fight. It's the climax of the story and it's actually quite hard. There are some scenes that I've got planned which are going to be a lot easier to write. This one is hard. It's sort of a transition scene. It's the bit where all the pieces are starting to come together. I'm getting towards the end. I'm at 77,000 words now. So I've got 13,000 to go, which I'm planning to write this week. I started week 1 of Publish and Thrive last night, which is exciting. I am an alumni. I did Publish and Thrive back in August last year, July-August last year. So it's a self-publishing course run by Sarah Cannon, who runs the Heart Breathings YouTube channel, which I will link down below. And I found it to be really invaluable last year. I got it bundled with the HB90 course, which is the sort of planning system which I'm currently using. So she's re-recorded it this time, so I'm going through it with everybody else week by week as it unlocks. Last night she was talking about the reader journey, thinking about selling your books from the point of view of how the reader discovers your books, which I think is really an interesting way to look at it. So I started that last night. I did finish Inner Demons as well by Sarah Cannon. It was a short book, it was easy to get through. It's the second book in her Shadow Demons saga. The books at this point, they're quite short. They're not complex stories. The thing I love about them is I can feel the fact that she was having fun writing them, which sounds kind of dumb, but it reminds me of the stories I wrote as a teenager. I wasn't thinking about world building and magic systems and all the rules that go along with magic systems and complex subplots and themes and what things might mean behind the scenes. I wasn't analysing it from that point of view like I do now because I've done an English literature degree and you just can't not. I didn't know anything about story structure. I didn't know anything about any of that stuff. I just wrote the story that was in my mind and wrote it as it came to me. And that's how it feels. It just feels like someone has just written a book and had fun writing it without all the deep, complicated stuff that we often look for in literature and often say, oh, that's good literature because it's deep and meaningful and complex. And it doesn't mean that's not good literature, but it also doesn't mean that anything else is bad. It just means that it serves 2 different purposes, 2 different audiences. I recorded last week, I think I said last week, I recorded my February TBR, what I'm currently reading video, and I just need to get it edited and get it up, which hopefully I will do this week. I don't think there's anything else to say really. I'm going to wait for these sprints to start and then I'm going to write. So I look terrible. I am bunged up with cold and I wasn't intending to vlog today. Not camera facing because I'm bunged up with cold and I feel a bit crap, but I have just finished my draft. I have just finished the first draft of the first Daphne book. And this is the first draft I have finished in 5 years, probably. Definitely the first draft I finished in 5-6 years. I just got so bogged down in university work and so in my head about it having to be perfect. This is far from perfect. Like, I aimed for 90,000 words in this draft and I'm at 84,000 because the climax just went a bit pear-shaped. It's an exploration draft. I was working from a very loose outline. Parts of it have gone wrong. I've changed my mind several times on elements of the story, so it doesn't all make sense and fit together. But I've just written the last line, and the last 2 scenes I'm very happy with. The few scenes before that ended up being a lot shorter because I'm not very good at writing fighting scenes and action scenes, so I kind of wrote them as like overviews of this is basically what happens, this is what they're all doing, and I'll go in and flesh it out properly in a second draft. But I have finished an 84,000 word draft. I have no words for how I feel. I can't believe I've actually done it. I have a finished draft. I have a complete first draft. I did it. Good morning, it is Saturday. It is the end of this vlog. I still have a cold. I don't think I've done a lot since I spoke to you on Wednesday. I finished module 1 of Publish and Thrive. I just need to watch the Q&A, which is live tonight at 7 o'clock, but I'm working until 7 o'clock, so I won't be home in time to watch it live, which is annoying. And tonight I need to finish editing this vlog, so I'm going to have to watch it tomorrow. I wanted to quickly, before I forget, clarify, when I was talking earlier in this vlog about Sarah Cannon's Inner Demons, and I was talking about why I'm enjoying the series and that it reminds me of what I used to write as a teenager, I don't know that anyone would take it this way, but in my head it occurred to me as a possibility that someone might take it that I meant I'm totally a better writer than that now, and this is juvenile. Her writing, her books are juvenile. That isn't what I meant. What I meant was I want to recapture that sense of joy, and I feel like I'm doing that with Daphne. I feel like a lot of what I've tried to write over the past few years has been influenced a lot by my degrees and by a sort of feeling like I have to be writing about something deep and political and it means something on 500 levels that an English literature student could sit down and analyse and pull apart and do what I've done with novels over the past few years. And what I enjoy about those books is the sense of joy in them. And I think that gets lost a lot when you start going into creative writing degrees. And I want to get back to that. And I feel like I am getting back to that with Daphne. And it's something I'm aspiring to. It is not something I feel like I've moved on from and I'm better than that now. Obviously, the achievements of the week, I finished Daphne. I finished a first draft, which I'm still really pleased with and really happy with and really excited by. It's the biggest achievement of the year, definitely. The biggest achievement of the decade at this point. I edited and uploaded my February currently reading TBR video type thing, which also an achievement. I finished Inner Demons by Sarah Cannon, and I also finished last night, I finished Midnight at the Electric by Jodie Lynn Anderson, this book, and I really loved this. So this is a triple timeline one that I did speak about in the TBR, so I'll leave that linked up above. There's a timeline in 2065, so sort of in the future, in the very near future. There's a timeline in 1934 and there's a timeline in 1919. And all of these timelines are connected, well, by this turtle called Galapagos. It's a slow-paced book. I love the atmosphere in it, the characters. I felt like it was really cleverly done. And it wasn't a long book, it was only 260 pages, but it packed a lot in there. And it's also about the environment and about the climate crisis, because in this book, in the future timeline, the central character Adri, who I relate to so much, it's ridiculous. She's going to Mars. They're called colonists because we've screwed the planet up, basically, and they need to find humanity somewhere else to live. So they're sending people to Mars to transform Mars into a habitable environment. Even throughout the past storylines, the 1919 and 1934, especially in the 1934 one, because it's this thing which I didn't know about, but I suppose I know in the 1930s in the US there was the Great Depression, but there was this thing called the Dust Bowl, which is basically where the farmers in the Midwest, I think, Americans might correct me on this, but in the Midwest, they farmed the land in such a way where they released a lot of the topsoil, and so when the winds came through, it picks up the soil and causes sort of like these storms of sand, soil, dust, which made it really hard for people to live. There's a drought, I think. I only know what I've gleaned from this book. It's something I think to look into at some point in the future. So that was something I didn't know about. I didn't know that existed, and now I do, which is why I love reading, because you learn so much. That's my achievements of the week, really. I've finished 2 books, filmed and uploaded a video, finished my first draft, and obviously done this vlog. I posted once on Instagram. I don't know how I feel about Instagram. I'm sort of a bit on the fence with Instagram, I'm not gonna lie. Oh, and I did module 1 for Publish and Thrive. So next week is going to be diving into research. Well, I'm going to read The People by Selena Todd next week, try and get that out of the way, because that isn't really research for my book. That is just kind of, I want to read it. I'm going to start ACOTAR. I'm going to start A Court of Thorns and Roses next week. I'm not even going to promise that I'm going to finish that book. I'm really not sure about it, so we'll see how that goes. That might be a DNF. I'm also going to script and record and hopefully upload a video about Spare by Prince Harry, because I listened to the audiobook for that a couple of weeks ago now, and I've started to watch other people's reviews online, and I'm like, I need to do a video talking about how I feel about this book, because I have feelings, and so far I haven't seen my feelings expressed by anybody else. So yeah, I think that's it. I will sign off the vlog here. I will potentially do some reading this morning, potentially start The People. If you have enjoyed this vlog, hit like. If you want more, subscribe, and I'll see you next time in another video.